A gentle welcome to the channel, a quiet place where science turns soft and the mind can loosen its grip. Tonight's journey is 100 facts about the sleeping brain, the organ that weighs roughly 1.3 to 1.4 kilograms, yet can create entire worlds in the dark. Every night, in cycles that often last around 90 minutes, the brain drifts through changing states, like a small planet rotating through its own weather. If you enjoy these gentle science journeys, I invite you to like and subscribe, or share a favorite fact in the comments. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. For now, there's nothing you need to do but rest. Settle in, breathe deeply, and let's begin. Fact 1. Sleep is not simply the brain turning off. It is a different mode of operation, with its own patterns, rhythms, and priorities. During waking life, the brain is tuned for responding, deciding, moving, and noticing. During sleep, it shifts toward repair, sorting, and internal maintenance. Brain activity does not disappear. It changes shape. In some stages, large groups of neurons pulse together in slow, rolling waves, like a tide moving across a dark shoreline. In other stages, the brain becomes surprisingly active, and dreams can feel bright and immediate. Fact 2. A typical night is made of repeated sleep cycles, often close to 90 minutes each, though the exact length varies from person to person and night to night. Early in the night, deeper, non-REM sleep tends to be more common. Later, REM sleep usually becomes longer and more frequent. This means the brain's night is not one flat blanket of rest. It is more like a story told in chapters. Each cycle is a gentle arc, beginning in lighter sleep, sinking into deeper stages, and then rising toward REM before starting again. Fact 3. Non-REM sleep is often described in stages, including light sleep and deeper, slow-wave sleep. In slow-wave sleep, the brain's electrical activity can show high amplitude, low frequency waves. These slow waves are not just a sign of deep rest. They reflect a coordinated rhythm in which large populations of neurons shift between active and quiet states. It is as if the brain is breathing in electrical time, expanding and softening, then pausing. This stage is strongly linked with physical restoration and a sense of heaviness in the body. Fact 4. REM sleep stands for rapid eye movement sleep, and it was first described in the early 1950s when researchers observed a unique sleep state marked by quick eye movements and a brain activity pattern that looked more like waking than deep sleep. REM is often associated with vivid dreaming, although dreaming can occur in other stages too. In REM, the brain is active, yet the body's large muscles are largely relaxed and inhibited, which helps prevent dreams from being acted out in full motion. Fact 5. The brain's sleep architecture changes across the lifespan. Newborns can spend roughly half their sleep time in REM, like sleep, while adults often spend around 20 to 25% of their sleep in REM, though it varies. Deep, slow-wave sleep tends to be more abundant in childhood and adolescence, and it often declines with age. This does not mean the brain stops needing sleep. It means the balance of stages shifts, like a night sky, where certain constellations appear more strongly in some seasons than in others. Fact 6. Circadian rhythms are the brain and body's internal timing system, aligning physiology with day and night. Humans have an internal rhythm that tends to run close to, but not exactly, 24 hours if isolated from light cues. The brain uses signals from the environment, especially light, to keep this rhythm aligned with Earth's day. This is why morning light can feel like a gentle reset. It is not only the eyes seeing brightness, it is the brain receiving a timestamp that says, "This is morning," and the internal clocks can adjust. Fact 7. A small region in the hypothalamus, called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, is often described as the master clock. It receives information about light from the eyes through specialized pathways. From there, timing signals ripple outward, influencing many daily rhythms, including body temperature, hormone release, and sleepiness. It is as if the brain keeps a quiet schedule in the background, even when attention is busy elsewhere. At night, the clock helps open the gates for sleep, and in the morning, it helps lift them again. Fact 8. Melatonin is a hormone associated with darkness and night signaling, produced largely by the pineal gland. Melatonin does not knock the brain unconscious like a switch. Instead, it tends to act more like a dimmer, nudging the body toward night mode. Levels usually rise in the evening and fall toward morning, guided by circadian timing and light exposure. Bright light at night can suppress melatonin, which is one reason screens and strong lighting can feel like a small sunrise at the wrong hour. Confusing. The brain's sense of time. Fact 9. Adenosine is a chemical that builds up in the brain during waking hours, linked to sleep pressure, the growing need for rest. As waking time stretches, adenosine levels tend to rise and sleepiness can deepen. During sleep, adenosine levels fall again. Caffeine works largely by blocking adenosine receptors, which can mask the feeling of sleep pressure for a while. The pressure still exists beneath the surface, like a tide held back by a temporary barrier. When the caffeine wears off, sleepiness can return, sometimes all at once. Fact 10. Body temperature follows a daily rhythm, usually dropping in the evening and reaching a low point during the night. This decline is tied to the circadian system and is often associated with easier sleep onset. The brain is sensitive to temperature signals. Cooling the core slightly is like lowering the lights in a theater. It suggests that the performance of wakefulness is ending and the quieter show of sleep can begin. This is part of why a cool bedroom often feels inviting for rest. A slow breath passes through the scene, like wind moving over grass, and the story drifts deeper into the brain's nighttime landscapes. Fact 11. Sleep spindles are brief bursts of brain activity that appear especially in stage 2 non-REM sleep. On an EEG, they look like quick rhythmic waves, like a soft fluttering. Spindles are associated with sensory gating, meaning the brain may be reducing the impact of outside noise and touch, helping protect sleep. They are also linked with learning and memory processes. In a way, spindles can be imagined as the brain closing the curtains to the outside world, so the inner work can continue without constant interruption. Fact 12. Slow waves in deep sleep are not uniform across the brain. They can travel and shift, and different regions can show different patterns. Some scientists describe sleep as a local phenomenon as well as a global one, meaning parts of the brain can be more deeply asleep than others at a given moment. Even in waking life, when someone is tired, certain networks may show brief lapses. Sleep is a coordinated state, but it is also a mosaic, with different areas resting and working in their own timed choreography. Fact 13. The hippocampus is a brain structure central to forming many kinds of new memories, especially episodic memories, the memories of events. During sleep, especially deep non-REM sleep, patterns of neural activity in the hippocampus can replay in compressed form, like a fast summary of the day's experience. This replay is thought to help move information toward longer-term storage in the cortex. It is as if the brain is gently rehearsing what mattered, then placing it into a quieter library where it can be found later. Fact 14. During sleep, the brain continues to process emotional information. REM sleep, in particular, is often linked with emotional memory and regulation. Some theories suggest that dreaming in REM helps the brain revisit emotional experiences in a safer, lower stress environment where the body is still and the outside world is muted. It is not a guaranteed therapy, and it is not always pleasant. Yet the pattern suggests a deep truth. Sleep is not only about muscles resting. It is also about the mind learning how to carry feelings forward. Fact 15. Not all dreams are surreal storms. Many dreams are ordinary, reflecting daily life with slight bends in logic. Dream content often pulls from recent experiences, personal concerns, and older memories, mixing them like paint in water. This mixing can create new associations. Some researchers think dreaming may support creativity by exploring connections without the strict rules of waking thought. In dreams, the brain can test combinations that would be unlikely in daylight. It is like a quiet laboratory where imagination runs small experiments while the sleeper rests. Fact 16. The brain's default mode network is active in waking rest, daydreaming, and self-related thinking. Elements of this network may also be involved in dreaming and internal narrative during sleep. When the outside world fades, the brain's inner storyteller can become more prominent. This does not mean the brain is always focused on the self in sleep. It means the brain has systems for building scenes, simulating possibilities, and maintaining a sense of continuity. Even in the dark, the brain is capable of generating a world, complete with characters, places, and motion. Fact 17. EEG, the recording of electrical activity from the scalp, became a crucial tool for sleep science in the 20th century. One of the early pioneers, Hans Berger, recorded human EEG signals in the 1920s. Over time, EEG patterns helped researchers classify sleep stages and understand how brain rhythms shift through the night. It is quietly poetic that a sleeping brain, hidden behind bone and skin, can still leave a readable signature on the surface. Like distant thunder heard through a wall, the electrical tides of sleep can be traced without opening the door. Fact 18. Microsleeps are brief episodes of sleep that can last a few seconds, often occurring when someone is very sleep-deprived. During a microsleep, attention and awareness can drop sharply, even if the eyes appear open. The brain can slip into sleep patterns for a moment, like a candle flickering in a draft. Microsleeps are one reason fatigue can be dangerous during driving or tasks that require constant vigilance. They show that sleep is not only something that happens at night. Under pressure, the brain will try to take it whenever it can. Fact 19. Sleep deprivation affects attention, reaction time, and decision-making. The brain's ability to maintain steady focus can weaken, leading to lapses that feel like momentary blank spaces. Memory encoding can also suffer, meaning new information is harder to store. Mood can become more reactive, and stress can feel louder. These effects are not moral failings. They are biological signals that the brain's resources are running low. Sleep is a kind of nightly refueling, not only for the body, but for the brain's capacity to think clearly and feel balanced. Fact 20. During deep sleep, the brain's metabolic demands can shift, and certain repair and maintenance processes are emphasized. One of the most intriguing discoveries in recent years involves the glymphatic system, a waste clearance pathway in the brain that appears to be more active during sleep. It helps move fluid through brain tissue, assisting in the removal of metabolic byproducts. Some research links this clearing process to substances such as beta amyloid, though the full story is still unfolding. In calm terms, sleep can be imagined as the brain's cleaning crew quietly arriving after hours. The night feels wider now, like a slow river under stars, and the brain's facts continue, one by one, like stones placed gently in a path. Fact 21. The brain uses neurotransmitters to shift between waking and sleep states. Systems involving chemicals like serotonin, norepinephrine, acetylcholine, and others change activity across the night. These shifts help create the distinct feel of each stage. For example, during REM sleep, certain arousal-related systems change their firing patterns, while the acetylcholine activity can be relatively high compared with non-REM. The exact details are complex, but the overall image is simple. Sleep is orchestrated by many instruments. Different sections of the orchestra rise and fall, creating the music of night. Fact 22. The thalamus is a major relay center for sensory information. During sleep, thalamic activity changes, and the relay of sensory input to the cortex can be reduced. This helps explain why the sleeping brain can ignore many sounds that would be noticed while awake. The brain is not deaf in sleep, but it is selective. Certain meaningful stimuli, like a baby's cry for a parent, can still break through. Sleep is not an impenetrable wall. It is more like a guarded gate that opens for what matters most. Fact 23. Sleep inertia is the groggy feeling after waking, especially from deep sleep. During sleep inertia, alertness and performance can be reduced for minutes, sometimes longer. The brain is shifting its networks back into coordinated waking mode. It is like turning on a city after a power-saving night, when lights come on in waves rather than all at once. Waking from lighter sleep often produces less inertia than waking from slow-wave sleep. This is one reason alarms can feel harsh when they interrupt deep sleep, like pulling someone abruptly from the bottom of a quiet ocean. Fact 24. Dream recall varies widely between people and across nights. Many dreams are forgotten quickly, often within minutes of waking, especially if someone gets up and starts thinking about the day. Remembering dreams tends to be more likely if waking occurs during or soon after REM sleep, or if there is a brief awakening during the night that allows the dream to be encoded into memory. This creates a gentle paradox. Dreams can feel vivid and important, yet they can also vanish like mist. The brain creates them, experiences them, and then lets them dissolve. Fact 25. Lucid dreaming is the experience of becoming aware that one is dreaming while still in the dream. It is reported by many people at least once, and some experience it more frequently. In lucid dreams, certain cognitive capacities can return, including self-awareness and deliberate control, though the degree varies. Research suggests lucid dreaming involves unusual patterns of activity that blend features of REM sleep and waking. In a quiet way, Lucid dreaming is like a lantern flickering on inside the dream world, revealing that the walls are painted, the doors are imagined, and the ground is made of thought. Fact 26. Nightmares are disturbing dreams that can lead to awakening and distress. They can occur at any age and may become more common during stress, trauma, or certain medications. Nightmares show that dreaming is not always soothing. The brain can rehearse fear as well as wonder. Yet even nightmares can be understood as the brain processing emotion and memory in a sleeping state, sometimes clumsily. The sleeping brain is powerful, but it is not always gentle. When nightmares are frequent or severe, specialized therapies exist, including imagery rehearsal techniques, which can help reshape recurring dream content. Fact 27. Sleepwalking is a behavior that usually occurs during deep, non-REM sleep, often in the first third of the night. During sleepwalking, a person may sit up, walk, or perform simple actions while still in a sleep state. The brain is partly asleep and partly active, an unusual blend. Most sleepwalkers do not remember episodes. Sleepwalking is more common in children and often decreases with age. It is a reminder that sleep is not a single switch. The brain can be in different states at once, like rooms in a house where some lights are off and others remain dimly on. Fact 28. REM behavior disorder is a condition in which the normal muscle inhibition of REM sleep is reduced, allowing dream enactment behaviors such as movement or talking. It is more common in older adults and can sometimes be associated with underlying neurological conditions, though not always. Because it can lead to injury, medical evaluation is important. In the gentle framing of sleep science, REM behavior disorder shows how carefully the brain usually separates dreaming from acting. In most nights, the brain paints scenes and emotions while keeping the body safely still, like a theater with the stage lights on but the audience seated. Fact 29. Sleep paralysis is a phenomenon where a person wakes up and briefly cannot move, often accompanied by vivid hallucinations or a sense of presence. It occurs when REM-related muscle inhibition persists into wakefulness. The experience can be frightening, yet it is usually harmless and temporary. Across cultures, sleep paralysis has been interpreted in many mythical ways, as if the mind tries to explain the strange overlap of dream and waking. From a neuroscience view, it is a boundary glitch, the seam between states showing itself for a moment, like dawn light leaking through a curtain before it is fully opened. Fact 30. The brain's need for sleep appears to be deeply conserved across animals. Many mammals and birds show clear sleep states, and some show REM-like sleep. Even animals with very different brains show rest cycles. The details vary, but the pattern is widespread, suggesting sleep serves fundamental functions. Dolphins and some other marine mammals can sleep with one hemisphere of the brain at a time, known as unihemispheric sleep, allowing them to surface for air and maintain some vigilance. It is a stunning example of adaptation, as if the brain has learned to rest one wing at a time while still flying through the sea. A quiet pause arrives, like a soft snowfall in the mind, and the facts continue to drift, each one another gentle step deeper into night. Fact 31. The brain's cortex, the folded outer layer, is heavily involved in perception and higher cognition during wakefulness. During sleep, cortical activity reorganizes. In deep, non-REM sleep, connectivity between distant regions can decrease, while local synchrony can increase. This can contribute to reduced consciousness and less integration of information. It is like a city where neighborhoods still have lights and activity, but the highways between them are quieter, so the whole city no longer functions as one unified system. In REM, connectivity patterns shift again, supporting vivid inner experiences and complex dreams. Fact 32. One influential idea about why sleep exists is synaptic homeostasis. The basic proposal is that during wakefulness, synaptic connections are strengthened by learning and experience, and during sleep, especially slow-wave sleep, the brain may downscale or rebalance synaptic strength to maintain efficiency and prevent saturation. This is still an area of active research, not a settled final answer. But the image is elegant. Wakefulness writes many notes into the brain's circuits. Sleep may be the quiet editor, trimming, smoothing, and keeping the most useful lines, so the next day's learning can be possible again. Fact 33. The immune system and sleep influence one another. During illness, many people feel sleepier, and sleep can become deeper or more fragmented depending on the condition. Certain immune signaling molecules can affect sleep regulation. In turn, chronic sleep loss can be associated with changes in immune function. The relationship is complex and not simply one direction. Still, it supports a calm truth. Sleep is part of the body's broader maintenance network. When the body senses threat or strain, it often tries to recruit more rest, as if asking the brain to dim the lights and let the repair teams work longer. Fact 34. Memory consolidation during sleep is not only about facts and events. Motor learning, like practicing a musical passage or a sports skill, can also improve after sleep. Studies have shown that performance can get better after a night of sleep, even without additional practice, suggesting the brain continues refining motor programs offline. Sleep can act like a quiet rehearsal studio. The body is still, but the brain can replay patterns, strengthen sequences, and reduce errors. The next day, movements can feel smoother, as if the brain polished them during the night. Fact 35. Some people experience hypnic jerks, sudden muscle twitches as they fall asleep. These can be accompanied by a sensation of falling. Hypnic jerks are common and generally harmless, though they can be more frequent with stress, caffeine, or sleep deprivation. They may reflect the nervous system transitioning between waking and sleep control of muscle tone. In imagery, a hypnic jerk is like the last echo of wakefulness, a small ripple before the surface becomes still. The body is releasing its grip on movement, but sometimes it lets go in a quick, startled motion. Fact 36. Sleep apnea involves repeated pauses or reductions in breathing during sleep, often due to airway collapse, leading to fragmented sleep and reduced oxygen levels. Many people with sleep apnea do not fully remember waking repeatedly, yet the brain is pulled toward lighter sleep to reopen breathing. This can result in daytime sleepiness and other health risks. Sleep apnea illustrates how sleep depends on stable physiology. The brain may want to descend into deeper stages, but if breathing becomes unstable, it must keep surfacing. Treatment options exist, and evaluation by a healthcare professional can be important when symptoms appear. Fact 37. Insomnia refers to difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking too early with distress or impairment during the day. Insomnia can be acute or chronic, and it can be influenced by stress, habits, environment, medical conditions, and more. The brain in insomnia often shows heightened arousal, as if the night is being watched too closely. Modern treatments include cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, which helps reshape thoughts and behaviors around sleep. In gentle terms, insomnia is not simply a lack of sleep. It is a tug of war between the brain's need to rest and the mind's tendency to stay alert. Fact 38. Narcolepsy is a neurological disorder characterized by excessive daytime sleepiness and, in some cases, sudden muscle weakness called cataplexy. It is linked to disruptions in systems that regulate sleep and wake boundaries, including REM intrusion into wakefulness. People with narcolepsy can experience vivid dreams, sleep paralysis, and rapid transitions into REM. The condition shows how precisely the brain usually separates its states. In most people, dreaming stays behind them. Curtain of sleep. In narcolepsy, the curtain can lift at unexpected times, blending worlds that are normally kept apart. Fact 39. The brain's prefrontal cortex, involved in planning and impulse control, tends to be less active in many dreams, especially in REM sleep. This may help explain why dreams can feel strange without triggering the same critical evaluation as waking thought. In a dream, impossible events can occur, and the mind may accept them without question. Meanwhile, emotional and visual regions can be quite active, adding intensity and imagery. The dream world can be thought of as a story told with fewer editors and more painters. Logic softens, and sensation becomes the leading voice. Fact 40. The amygdala, a region involved in processing threat and emotional salience, can show strong activity during REM sleep in some studies. This may relate to the emotional vividness of dreams. It can also connect to the way REM dreams sometimes feature anxiety themes or intense feelings. Yet REM is not only fear. Dreams can be joyful, curious, and tender. The brain's emotional palette is wide at night. In the dark, feelings can glow with less distraction, like colors appearing brighter when the surrounding world is quiet. The mind floats onward, as if carried by a slow current, and the brain's sleeping secrets keep unfolding. Fact 41. Sleep timing differs between people, and chronotype describes whether someone naturally tends to sleep and wake earlier or later. Some people are more morning-oriented, others more evening-oriented. This preference is influenced by genetics, age, and environment. Teenagers often show a shift toward later sleep timing, partly due to biological changes in circadian rhythms and sleep pressure. Chronotype can affect how alert a person feels at different times of day. In a gentle metaphor, each brain has its own sunrise and sunset schedule, and the world's clocks do not always match it perfectly. Fact 42. Light is the strongest cue for circadian timing. Morning light tends to shift the circadian rhythm earlier, while evening light can shift it later. This is why bright light late at night can delay sleepiness for some people. The brain is reading light like a calendar. It uses brightness and timing to infer the season and the hour. In ancient terms, this is the brain's way of listening to the sky. Even indoors, the brain still responds to light patterns, trying to place the body within the day's arc. Fact 43. Jet lag occurs when the circadian clock is out of sync with the local time, often after crossing time zones quickly. The brain and body may still be running on the old schedule, creating sleepiness at odd hours and wakefulness when rest is needed. Adjustment takes time, and factors like light exposure and sleep timing can influence the speed of adaptation. Jet lag shows that the brain is not instantly reset by willpower. It is a biological clock that shifts gradually, like a ship turning in a wide ocean, needing distance and time to change direction smoothly. Fact 44. Shift work can challenge the brain's circadian system because working at night and sleeping during the day goes against typical light-driven cues. Many shift workers experience reduced sleep quality and misalignment between their internal clock and social schedules. This misalignment can affect mood and health over time. The brain is designed to use darkness for rest and light for activity, and when this pattern is reversed, the system can become strained. It is like asking a nocturnal forest to bloom at noon and sleep at midnight. Some adaptation is possible, but the mismatch often remains. Fact 45. Sleep is associated with changes in hormone regulation. For example, growth hormone secretion is linked with deep sleep, especially early in the night, and it plays roles in tissue repair and metabolism. Cortisol follows a daily rhythm, often rising toward morning. Appetite-related hormones can also be influenced by sleep duration and quality. This is part of why sleep affects more than mood. It touches the body's energy balance and recovery systems. In the quiet of night, the brain coordinates with the body like a conductor guiding a hidden orchestra of hormones, each arriving on cue. Fact 46. The brain's glymphatic system appears to increase fluid movement through brain tissue during sleep, aided by changes in the space between cells. This may help clear metabolic waste products that accumulate during wakefulness. While research continues, the general idea is that sleep supports a kind of nightly rinsing. It is a soothing concept. The brain, so busy all day, uses the night to wash its pathways. Like rain cleaning a city's streets when traffic is low, the sleeping brain may open channels for clearance and renewal. Fact 47. Some people snore because tissues in the upper airway vibrate when airflow is partially obstructed during sleep. Snoring can be harmless, but it can also be a sign of sleep apnea in some cases. The brain's control of airway muscles changes during sleep, and the relaxed state can allow narrowing. This is another reminder that sleep is a different physiological mode. Muscles loosen, control systems shift. In the right environment, the transition is smooth and safe. In other cases, the change can create disruptions that pull the brain toward lighter sleep repeatedly, preventing full restoration. Fact 48. Dreams can include sensations like taste, touch, and smell, but visual and auditory content are most common. The brain's visual systems can generate detailed scenes without incoming light. This is not magic. It is memory and imagination combined. The visual cortex can be active in dreaming, assembling textures, faces, and landscapes from stored patterns. A dream beach can feel real even in a dark room, because the brain is an artist with a vast archive. Sleep turns that archive into a projector, casting images onto the inner screen. Fact 49. Time in. Dreams can feel warped. Some dreams seem to last a long time, yet physiological measures suggest REM periods may be minutes to an hour. The brain's sense of time depends on attention and memory, and in dreams, those systems work differently. A single dream can contain a lifetime of feeling, compressed into a few moments. It is like reading a novel in a flash, where the emotional meaning matters more than the clock. The brain is not keeping time in the same way. It is keeping narrative. Fact 50. People often wake briefly multiple times at night without remembering. These micro-awakenings can be seconds long. Sleep is not always a perfectly continuous river. It can include tiny ripples and brief surfaces. The brain checks the environment, adjusts posture, or responds to internal signals, then returns to sleep. In healthy sleep, these awakenings are usually not disruptive and may go unnoticed. This pattern suggests a gentle vigilance remains. Even at rest, the brain is still the guardian of the body, keeping watch in a quiet, minimal way while allowing deep restoration to continue. The night's atmosphere deepens, like distant galaxies becoming clearer as the eyes adapt to darkness. Fact 51. The brain's ability to learn new information depends on sleep. When sleep is short or fragmented, the hippocampus can struggle to encode new memories effectively. It is as if the brain's notebook is full, and without sleep, it cannot clear enough space for new notes. Sleep helps reset the capacity to learn. This is one reason a well-rested mind can absorb lessons more easily. In calm terms, sleep is like sharpening a pencil. The pencil may still write when dull, but the lines become faint and the effort increases. Fact 52. Sleep can influence pain perception. Many people notice that pain feels more intense after a poor night of sleep, and chronic pain can also disrupt sleep, creating a feedback loop. The brain's systems for modulating pain interact with emotional and attention networks, all of which are affected by sleep. This does not mean sleep is a cure for pain, but it suggests rest is part of resilience. When the brain is rested, it can better regulate signals and emotions. When tired, the brain's filters can thin and sensations can feel sharper. Fact 53. During REM sleep, breathing can become more irregular than during non-REM sleep, and heart rate variability can change. The body's autonomic systems behave differently across stages. This is another sign that sleep is not one uniform state. Each stage has its own physiology. In deep non-REM, the body tends towards steady patterns, like a calm sea. In REM, the sea can become more variable, like waves responding to winds that come and go. Yet the sleeper remains mostly unaware, traveling through these internal weather patterns without conscious effort. Fact 54. Dreams sometimes incorporate external sounds or sensations. A distant alarm can become a ringing phone in a dream. A cool breeze can become a night wind in a dream forest. The sleeping brain still receives information from the world, but it can weave that information into its own narrative. This blending is one reason dreams can feel like they are responding to something beyond the dream. In reality, the brain is doing what it always does. It is interpreting signals, and when asleep, it interprets them through story rather than through ordinary waking logic. Fact 55. The brain's reward systems and dopamine pathways may also relate to sleep and dreaming. Some research suggests dopamine can influence dream vividness and the emotional tone of dreams. Sleep disorders and certain medications affecting dopamine systems can change dream patterns. The details vary widely, and individual experiences differ. Yet the broader idea is simple. The brain's chemistry shapes its nightly theater. Mood, motivation, and memory all influence what appears on the dream stage. Night is not separate from day. It is the day's echo, refracted through a different state of consciousness. Fact 56. The first part of the night often contains more slow-wave sleep, while the latter part often contains more REM. This means if someone sleeps only a short time, they may miss a large portion of later REM-rich sleep. If someone sleeps very late into the morning, they may experience long REM periods. The brain seems to prioritize deep sleep earlier and dream heavy sleep later, though this can vary with stress, sleep debt, and individual biology. It is like a night that begins with deep, quiet repair, then transitions toward more elaborate inner storytelling as dawn approaches. Fact 57. Sleep pressure accumulates with time awake, and it can be intensified by prior sleep loss. This can lead to deeper, slow-wave sleep during recovery nights, a phenomenon often called rebound. REM rebound can also occur after REM suppression. The brain tracks what it missed and tries to compensate. This suggests sleep is regulated with purpose, not randomness. The brain is balancing needs, keeping account, and paying back debt. In the soft logic of biology, sleep is not optional. It is a requirement that the brain will attempt to reclaim, sometimes with surprising intensity. Fact 58. The brain's sensory cortex can show changes in responsiveness during sleep. In some cases, familiar sounds like one's name can produce stronger responses than unfamiliar sounds, even when asleep. This indicates the sleeping brain maintains some capacity for relevance detection. It is not fully unplugged. It is simply less outward-facing. Like a lighthouse that dims, but does not go dark, the brain keeps a low level of ready to signal if something truly important appears, like a doorbell in the distance or a familiar voice calling in the dark. Fact 59. The very first stage of sleep is often called N1, and it can feel like hovering at the edge of a shore. Thoughts loosen, the body grows heavier. The brain's rhythms begin to shift from the faster patterns of alert wakefulness toward slower activity, often including more theta range waves. In this borderland, brief, dreamlike images can appear, sometimes called hypnagogic imagery. They can be simple, like a flash of color, or strangely specific, like a face or a place that vanishes instantly. It is not yet deep sleep, but it is already a different world. Fact 60. As the brain descends, the sense of the body changes. Muscle tone drops, breathing slows, and awareness of the room fades. In N1, small sounds can still pull the mind back easily, but the brain is beginning to reduce its grip on the outside. Some people notice a feeling of floating, or a sudden thought that seems important, then disappears. This is the mind's last murmuring before it settles. The brain is not failing to focus. It is deliberately releasing focus, letting the day's sharp edges soften into something quieter. Fact 61. Stage N2 is often the largest portion of sleep in many adults, sometimes around half the night, though it varies. It is not the deepest stage, but it is steady and protective. In N2, the brain shows features like sleep spindles and K complexes, signatures that look like brief events rather than continuous waves. It is as if the brain is building a shelter, a stable middle depth where rest can continue even if the environment is not perfectly silent. This stage can feel like true sleep, not drifting, not dreaming intensely, just being carried. Fact 62. K complexes are large, brief waves that can appear in N2 sleep. They sometimes arise spontaneously, and sometimes in response to external stimuli, like a sound that is noticed but not fully allowed into awareness. Some researchers describe the K complex as a kind of protective response, a quick assessment followed by a return to sleep. It is like the brain lifting its head for a moment, listening, deciding there is no real danger, and then lowering its head again. The sleeper may never know it happened, yet the brain keeps watch. Fact 63. Sleep spindles, those short bursts of rhythmic activity, tend to be most prominent in N2. Spindles appear to help the brain disconnect from external input and may support memory consolidation. Their timing is not random. They can occur in patterns across the night, and they can change with learning. After practicing a new skill, some people show changes in spindle activity during the following sleep. The image is quiet and satisfying. The brain practices without moving, strengthening the invisible threads that hold a new ability in place. Fact 64. Deep sleep, often called N3 or slow wave sleep, is marked by slow, high-amplitude waves that reflect large-scale synchronization. During this stage, waking someone can be difficult, and the person may feel disoriented if pulled out too quickly. Many parasomnias, like sleepwalking and night terrors, are more likely to occur from this deep, non-REM state. The brain is so deeply engaged in its slow rhythm that behavior can sometimes emerge without full consciousness. It is like a powerful engine running at low speed, heavy and steady, while the mind's usual narrator is offline. Fact 65. Night terrors are different from nightmares. They typically arise from deep, non-REM sleep and can involve sudden sitting up, screaming, and intense autonomic activation, such as a fast heart rate and sweating. Unlike nightmares, night terrors often come with little or no memory afterward. It can look as if the person is awake and frightened, but the brain is still largely in deep sleep. The scene is startling, yet it is also a reminder of how layered sleep can be. The body can display fear, while the mind remains mostly submerged beneath consciousness. Fact 66. REM sleep is famous for dreaming, and one of its striking features is muscle atonia, a strong reduction of activity in many skeletal muscles. This is coordinated largely through brainstem circuits that inhibit motor neurons during REM. The result is that the brain can generate vivid movement in dreams, while the body remains mostly still. It is a safety feature of the sleeping brain, a quiet lock on the door between imagination and action. When this lock weakens, as in REM behavior disorder, dream actions can leak into real motion. Fact 67. Rapid eye movements in REM are real movements of the eyes, and their exact function is still debated. Some theories propose they may relate to scanning within dream imagery, as if the eyes are tracking a scene that exists only inside the brain. Others view them as part of internal brainstem activation patterns. Whatever their purpose, they are a signature of a state where the brain is deeply engaged in inner experience. Even with eyelids closed, the eyes can flicker, like small fish moving beneath the surface of a dark lake. Fact 68. In many dreams, the brain's reality-checking systems are relaxed. The prefrontal networks that evaluate logic and contradiction may be less engaged, especially in REM, which can make impossible events feel normal. A staircase can lead into the sky, and the dream mind accepts it. This is not stupidity. It is a different mode. The brain is simulating without strict constraints, exploring associations rather than verifying facts. It is like a story told by candlelight, where the goal is meaning and motion, not accuracy. Fact 69. The brain sometimes replays memory patterns during sleep at a faster timescale than they occurred in waking life. A sequence that took minutes during the day may be replayed in seconds during the night. This compressed replay has been observed in research, especially involving the hippocampus in animals and in related signals in humans. The effect is like a time-lapse of the day, as if the brain is quickly scanning the footage, marking what matters, and filing it away. Sleep becomes not only rest, but also editing. Fact 70. Sleep does not only strengthen memories, it can also support forgetting, which is equally important. The brain cannot keep everything with equal clarity. Some theories suggest that sleep helps prune less useful connections, reduce noise, and keep memories from becoming overly cluttered. Forgetting is not always loss. Sometimes it is cleaning. The brain keeps the essential shape of an experience while letting the minor details fade, so the mind can move forward without carrying every grain of sand from every beach it has ever visited. Fact 71. Emotional memories can be shaped during sleep. REM sleep has been linked with the processing of emotion, and some models suggest it may help separate the emotional charge of an event from the factual content, allowing a memory to remain without the same intensity. This is not a guarantee, and people's experiences differ, especially with trauma. Yet the pattern suggests a gentle possibility. In sleep, the brain may revisit difficult scenes in a quieter chemical environment, reducing some of the sharpness over time, like waves smoothing rough stones. Fact 72. Fear. Learning and fear reduction appear to interact with sleep. Some studies suggest that good sleep can support healthy emotional regulation and may help with processes like fear extinction, the learning that something once dangerous is now safe. Poor sleep can make emotional triggers feel louder the next day, with stronger reactivity. The sleeping brain is not only restoring energy, it is tuning the emotional instrument. When tuned well, the day's notes may sound clearer and less harsh. When tuned poorly, small stresses can ring louder than they should. Fact 73. Stress hormones follow daily rhythms, and sleep affects them. Cortisol is often higher toward morning and lower at night, but stress, irregular schedules, and sleep loss can alter patterns. When sleep is short, the body can remain in a more activated state, and the brain may have a harder time settling. This can create a loop where stress disrupts sleep, and disrupted sleep amplifies stress. The gentle counterpoint is that stable sleep routines, light exposure, and calming environments can help the brain feel safe enough to descend, like a harbor protected from wind. Fact 74. Sleep influences appetite regulation through multiple pathways, including hormonal signals and brain reward systems. When sleep is reduced, many people report increased cravings, especially for high-calorie foods. This is not simply willpower. The brain's reward sensitivity and satiety signaling can shift with fatigue. The sleepy brain wants quick energy, like a lantern seeking more fuel. In modern environments, quick energy is easy to find, so the brain's ancient signals can pull eating behavior in unhelpful directions. Rest can be a quiet stabilizer of these drives. Fact 75. Sleep also interacts with metabolism and glucose regulation. Research links chronic sleep loss with changes in insulin sensitivity and metabolic health, though the relationships are complex and influenced by many factors. The brain is a high-energy organ, and its sleep patterns influence how the body manages fuel. Night is not a pause from biology. It is an active part of regulation. When sleep is steady, metabolic systems often function more smoothly, like a clock whose gears are cleaned and aligned. When sleep is disrupted, the gears can grind. Fact 76. Thermoregulation changes across sleep stages. In non-REM sleep, the body can continue to regulate temperature relatively well. In REM sleep, thermoregulation can be reduced, meaning the body may respond less efficiently to temperature changes. This is one reason extremely hot or cold environments can be disruptive. The brain in REM is deeply immersed in inner experience, and some protective bodily responses soften. It is like a traveler who takes off a coat while entering a vivid dream, forgetting the weather outside. A stable, comfortable temperature supports deeper rest. Fact 77. Sound can shape sleep in subtle ways. Some research has explored the use of gentle, timed sounds, sometimes described as pink noise, to enhance slow-wave activity when delivered carefully. The idea is not to keep the brain awake, but to nudge its natural rhythms to become more synchronized. Results vary, and it is not a universal solution, but it offers a fascinating image. The sleeping brain can be guided like a slow dancer, responding to a soft beat without fully waking. It shows how responsive sleep can be, even when it feels sealed. Fact 78. Smell can also interact with sleep and memory. Because scent pathways connect strongly with memory and emotion systems, odors presented during learning, and later again during sleep, have been studied as a way to cue memory reactivation. In some experiments, specific smells associated with learning tasks appeared to influence consolidation when presented during slow-wave sleep. The scent acts like a quiet bookmark, reminding the brain which pages to revisit. Even in sleep, the brain can recognize a cue and begin gentle work, like a librarian pulling a particular volume from the shelf. Fact 79. Naps can include meaningful sleep stages, sometimes including N2 spindles and even brief REM, depending on length and timing. Short naps can reduce sleepiness and improve alertness, while longer naps can sometimes produce sleep inertia. Napping is not a sign of weakness. It is a biological tool, and many cultures have long used midday rest. The brain's need for sleep can be distributed. A nap is like a small island of night placed inside the day, offering a quick refuge where the mind can lower its guard and reset. Fact 80. The timing of a nap matters. Napping too late in the day can reduce sleep pressure at night and delay bedtime for some people. Napping earlier can feel more restorative, without interfering as much with nighttime sleep. The brain's sleep pressure and circadian timing interact like two gentle currents. One current is how long the brain has been awake. The other is what time the internal clock thinks it is. When these currents align, sleep arrives smoothly. When they clash, sleep may hesitate, hovering at the edge. Fact 81. Caffeine's alerting effects can linger because its half-life is often around 5 hours, though it varies between individuals. That means a coffee consumed in the late afternoon can still be active late at night. Caffeine does not remove sleep need. It masks sleep pressure by blocking adenosine receptors. The brain may feel awake, while the deeper need for rest continues accumulating. Later, when caffeine fades, sleepiness can return more strongly. In a quiet sense, caffeine is like a bright lamp held up against the night. It can delay darkness, but it cannot erase it. Fact 82. Alcohol can make people feel sleepy at first, but it often disrupts sleep architecture later in the night. As alcohol is metabolized, sleep can become more fragmented, and REM sleep can be reduced or shifted. People may wake more often, sometimes without remembering. This is why alcohol can create a deceptive sleep. A night that begins like a calm descent but ends with frequent surface ripples. The brain may not get the same smooth cycles it prefers. It is like trying to sail with an early tailwind that later turns into gusts. Fact 83. Many sleep medications affect sleep stages. Some can increase certain types of sleep while reducing others, and some can change spindle patterns or REM timing. This does not automatically mean they are harmful, since they can be helpful for specific conditions under medical guidance. But it does mean medicated sleep can be different from natural sleep. The brain's orchestra may be playing with altered instrumentation. The melody of rest can still occur, but the texture may shift. The sleeping brain is sensitive to chemistry, and small changes can reshape the night's pattern. Fact 84. Dreams often include fragments from recent life, a phenomenon sometimes called day residue. A conversation, a headline, a brief worry, a face seen on a train. Any of this can appear later in a dream, often transformed. The brain is not recording the day like a camera, it is translating the day into meaning. Dreams can take a small detail and inflate it into a symbol, or blend it with older memories. The dream world is a collage, and the glue is emotion, relevance, and the brain's endless urge to connect pieces. Fact 85. Dreams can also draw from older memories, not only recent ones. A childhood home can appear decades later, reshaped by adult understanding. A person from the past can arrive in a dream with a new role. This suggests memory is not stored like a locked vault. It is more like a living landscape where paths can be revisited and redrawn. Sleep is one time when the brain wanders that landscape freely, guided by hidden currents. What appears can feel random, but often it reflects deeper themes the waking mind has not named. Fact 86. Not everyone sees images in dreams with equal vividness, and some people report more thought-like dreams. Dream experience varies with individual brain differences and with sleep stage. Visual imagery often involves activity in visual processing regions, while narrative and emotion involve other networks. The dream is not located in one spot. It is distributed like a constellation. The sense of being in a place, the feeling of a mood, the memory of a face, all of these are assembled by different parts of the brain working together in darkness. Fact 87. Recurring nightmares can become a pattern, especially under chronic stress or after trauma. Nightmare disorder involves frequent distressing dreams that disrupt sleep and daytime functioning. Treatments exist, including imagery rehearsal therapy, where a person rewrites the nightmare ending while awake and practices the new version, reducing the nightmare's power over time. This approach suggests that the brain's dream engine can be guided. Even the darkest dream can sometimes be softened by deliberate reshaping, like changing the big course of a river by patiently redirecting the water over and over until a new channel forms. Fact 88. Post-traumatic stress can strongly affect sleep, with nightmares, insomnia, and hyperarousal making rest difficult. Sleep is often one of the first systems to be disrupted by trauma because the brain's threat detection remains on high alert. This can reduce deep restorative sleep and increase awakenings. Yet sleep can also be part of healing and therapies often address sleep directly because rest supports emotional regulation and resilience. The brain needs safety to sleep. Creating a stable, calming environment can be an important step in helping the nervous system relearn night as a time for refuge. Fact 89. Depression and sleep are closely linked, though the relationship can differ between individuals. Some people with depression sleep more, others sleep less, and many experience early morning awakening or fragmented sleep. Changes in REM timing have been observed in some cases, but sleep patterns are not a simple diagnostic tool. What remains clear is that sleep and mood interact deeply. Poor sleep can worsen mood, and low mood can disturb sleep. The brain's night and day systems are braided together, like two strands of the same rope, each shaping the other's tension. Fact 90. Anxiety can keep the brain in a state of anticipatory alertness, making it harder to fall asleep. The mind may replay conversations, imagine future problems, and scan for threats. This is not the brain being difficult. It is the brain doing its protective job at the wrong time. Sleep requires a sense of safety. When the nervous system is activated, sleep becomes a cautious visitor that waits outside. Many calming strategies focus on signaling safety to the brain through consistent routines, gentle environments, and slow unwinding, like dimming the world gradually rather than abruptly. Fact 91. The sleep-wake boundary is regulated by many systems, including a neuropeptide called orexin, also known as hypocretin. Orexin helps stabilize wakefulness and prevent sudden transitions into sleep. In narcolepsy with cataplexy, orexin neurons are often reduced, leading to unstable boundaries and REM intrusion. This reveals a key principle. The brain does not merely choose wake or sleep. It actively holds the chosen state in place. Orexin is like a steady hand on the wheel, keeping the brain's state stable as it navigates the day. Fact 92. Certain genes influence circadian timing and sleep traits. Variations in clock genes can shift chronotype, and rare genetic variants are associated with naturally short sleep in some individuals who still function well. These people are sometimes called natural short sleepers, and they are uncommon. This reminds the listener that sleep need is not identical across all humans. There is a range shaped by genetics, age, health, and environment. Yet, even with variation, the brain's need for consistent, restorative cycles remains. Sleep is flexible, but it is not optional. Fact 93. The brain consumes a large portion of the body's energy, and its energy use patterns shift across sleep. While some overall metabolic demands decline in certain stages, the brain continues active processes such as memory reactivation and cellular maintenance. Some theories propose that sleep supports replenishment of energy stores in brain cells, including glial support systems. The details are still being refined, but the image remains soothing. The brain is like a city that never fully shuts down. At night, it turns off the noisy factories and opens the quiet maintenance workshops. Fact 94. Glial cells, once thought to be mere support, are deeply involved in brain function. Astrocytes, a type of glial cell, help regulate neurotransmitters, support metabolic needs, and influence the brain's internal environment. During sleep, glial activity and fluid movement through tissue may contribute to restoration. The sleeping brain is not only neurons firing less or more. It is also glia, adjusting the chemistry, buffering the system, and keeping conditions stable. In the darkness, glia can be imagined as caretakers, moving through corridors, checking levels, cleaning spills, and keeping the living circuitry safe. Fact 95. Microglia, another type of glial cell, are part of the brain's immune system and also play roles in synaptic remodeling. In development, microglia help prune synapses, shaping neural networks. Sleep may influence these processes, and sleep loss can affect inflammatory signaling in the brain. The brain's night is linked with long-term structure, not only daily mood. It is as if sleep provides a quiet window when the brain can reshape itself gently, trimming and reinforcing connections so that the network stays efficient and adaptable. Fact 96. During childhood and adolescence, sleep supports brain development, including synaptic pruning and maturation of networks that govern emotion and impulse control. Teenagers often need more sleep than adults, yet social schedules may reduce it. The developing brain is building long-term architecture. Sleep is part of the construction plan. It is like letting concrete set. Without enough time, the structure may still form, but it may not cure as smoothly. Deep sleep is often more prominent in youth, and it is associated with growth and physical restoration, as well as brain plasticity. Fact 97. In infants, sleep occupies a large portion of the day, and REM-like sleep is especially abundant. This aligns with rapid brain development, sensory learning, and neural wiring. The infant brain is absorbing a new world, and sleep may support the consolidation and organization of that flood of information. The baby's dreams, if they exist in any recognizable form, are likely not like adult dreams. Yet the brain is still cycling through states, strengthening connections and building maps. Sleep becomes a foundational rhythm, like a tide that shapes the shoreline of a growing mind. Fact 98. Sleep can influence the risk of seizures in some people with epilepsy, and sleep deprivation can be a seizure trigger. Certain types of seizures are more likely during specific sleep stages, and EEG patterns in sleep can reveal epileptiform activity that is less visible in waking. This shows that sleep is not always calm for every brain. Yet it also shows the value of sleep monitoring, because night can reveal patterns that day hides. The brain's rhythms can amplify certain signals. In sleep, the neural landscape becomes more synchronized, and hidden activity can stand out. Fact 99. Migraines and sleep are connected for many people. Poor sleep can trigger migraines, and migraines can disrupt sleep. Some people find that sleep can reduce migraine intensity, as if the brain uses rest to reset its sensory thresholds. The relationship varies widely, and triggers differ. Still, it underscores a broader theme. Sleep is a regulator of sensitivity. When the brain is tired, it can become more reactive to light, sound, stress, and internal shifts. When rested, the brain's filters often strengthen, and the world may feel less sharp. Fact 100. Across a full night, most people experience multiple cycles of non-REM and REM, often 4 to 6, though the number varies with sleep length and individual biology. The cycles are not identical. Early cycles tend to contain more deep, slow-wave sleep, and later cycles tend to contain more REM. This architecture is like a carefully arranged journey, descending into deep restoration first, then rising into vivid inner processing as morning approaches. It is as if the brain begins by repairing the foundation, then spends the later hours revisiting stories, emotions, and memories before the lights return. The night has been filled with 100 small lanterns, each fact a soft glow in the dark, each detail a reminder that sleep is not emptiness. It is a living state, a hidden ocean in the day. Skull, where waves of slow rhythm wash through the cortex, where spindles flutter like moth wings, where dreams stitch old and new into strange tapestries, and where quiet cleaning currents move through the brain's tissue. Some mysteries remain. Why a particular dream arrives on a particular night, why a fear fades after one good sleep but lingers after another, why one brain needs more rest than another. The science grows each year, but the sleeping brain keeps some secrets, not out of cruelty, but because it is vast and layered and still being mapped. In the end, the most comforting truth is simple. Night after night, the brain returns to its cycles, doing what it has evolved to do. It lowers the noise, protects the body, sorts the day, and prepares tomorrow. And as the rhythms continue, steady and ancient, the world outside can remain still, while the world inside becomes quiet enough to let rest finally take hold.